Michael?
Wait. Where'd Michael go? He's normally like under the table.
I don't know.
Or like in the middle of us.
He's got to say his like opening stupid line that no one likes.
I think you're gonna have to say it because I don't know it. You have to.
Welcome, nerds and nerdettes, to the Stats Fact podcast where three friends.
Man, you butchered that, dude. Jesus.
I don't know. It's a gaming show, and it's normally three of us, and it's really throwing me off. But Michael's not here today. I think he's sick or something.
He's definitely sick. I saw him.
Oh,
he woke up and he was like, and I was like, Michael, you have the mixer. I have to take it. And he's like, oh no.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was flabbergasted.
He's really sick. Okay, so
I'm not gonna do times and knock on his door.
I'm not gonna do his his intro to the first segment.
No, we're just gonna go right into it.
We're just gonna go into it. Today we're talking about games that you can play when you're bored. So games that are take your mind off stuff, or games that are really cheap and easy, get you out of that funk, the summer funk. Because we don't really have much news, because not much stuff's coming out right now.
Yeah, about the only thing to report right now is we'll get that over with real quick. We got EVO, which is a giant fighting game tournament.
Yeah.
You might have heard about. It's starting on August 3rd, so that's coming up. Should be pretty exciting.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, but I've never played a fighting game besides Mortal Kombat, and that was like 10 years ago.
Missing out. And also, I think it was two European countries that actually officially banned CSGO
loot boxes
because they are the contents or whatever are transferable. So I think Valve has disabled the ability for people to open those loot boxes and trade them for now.
It's terrible.
We'll just have to see how that plays out.
I don't know how I feel about that. We've talked about that before on the show. Let us know how you feel about it. Yeah. I don't know. Like I don't. Maybe I'm not as informed on the topic.
I don't think that's the end of that particular story. I think they aren't going to be the. Well, I mean, it's.
Like loot boxes, like really people up in arms about it. I personally don't think you should be getting better at the game because you can pay money to do it.
Well, you're not in CSGO.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but that's why I don't understand.
I don't know. People, I think, see it as a predatory practice that it takes advantage of maybe people that don't fully understand.
It's a form of gambling almost.
It literally is gambling. You're like putting in $3 or whatever and getting out a random value in items. It's kind of dicey because it's not technically cash. They don't have any real world value. Valve doesn't put a price on them.
Yeah.
But you can still trade them and like sell them on PayPal for money. I don't know. I don't think that's the end of that one. I think we're gonna hear. I think more.
We'll keep you updated.
Different countries, especially in the EU, are gonna.
If we do anything, policy. It's give good gaming news. That's what I've always said about the show.
Oh yeah, we're great at that.
So today, first up, Justin, you've been a little bit bored at work.
Yeah, and you know what I've recently started doing?
What you been doing?
I cracked open that games folder on Windows XP. Well, I think it's Windows 7 at work. We finally upgraded. And my favorite is got to be Minesweeper, man. Some people like Solitaire, but that's too random for me. I like Minesweeper. And I was surprised how many people don't even know how to play it.
Do you know, people out there's an actual way that you're supposed to play.
It's not random. It's not strategy. Random. Now it is random sometimes.
Yeah, pretty much the first one. The first couple clicks are normally.
And every once in a while you'll come up like to a 50-50 situation.
You'll have to. But I remember playing in high school because we had a computer class, and I'm an expert typist, so I finished for everybody because I'm just a baller like that. And so I had like 30 minutes every day where I just had nothing to do, and I didn't want to do my homework because that's lame. So I'm just kidding, kids. Do your homework, please. I just played Minesweeper because I wouldn't really like. I played Pinball a little bit too. We'll talk about that.
Oh yeah,
we'll talk about that.
Pinball.
But Minesweeper, it was my jam. So if you didn't know, the little numbers indicate how many mines are touching that particular square.
So you have a maximum of 8 because there can be a mine, and then you can have 8 free spaces around it or whatever. Or you can have a free space with 8 mines. So, and in addition to that, there are a bunch of little patterns that people have figured out.
Yeah, I didn't really get much into that.
Now, see, that's the high level stuff.
That's like upper.
And see, now that's how you know I'm hardcore, because I go even hardcore into Minesweeper. Okay, so just a quick, if you're interested at all, maybe you get Minesweeper open right now because you just heard us mention it. Okay.
Yeah.
One popular pattern. A lot of them involve the numbers 1 and 2. And so, for example, let's say you have an open row, just across the top or something like that.
Okay.
If you have a 1 and a 2, left, right, 1, 2, the next number over, the one right above it, must be a mine. That's just how it is.
Okay.
So now let's say you have
that makes sense.
Yeah. So once you have like a 3-2-3 or something, and maybe you actually know there's a mine here over by this 3 that actually goes down to a 2.
It's like that deductive reasoning.
Yeah, and so you can utilize all these combinations of patterns and things.
That game actually takes a little bit more mind power than I thought.
It does, and there are people that actually.
Or should I say, mind power?
His lip is quivering. He thinks he's so funny. No. People play it for speed. They're like speed. People do it for time. That is insane. That's
the next level. I used to get the huge ones, right? The biggest ones you can get.
Yeah.
Not the custom ones.
Oh, the expert.
The expert level.
I just cleared an expert yesterday.
Yeah, that's a good game right there. Yeah. When you get it down, oh man.
Once you learn those little tricks, anything below expert is just easy.
It's just super
like
easy.
A joke.
Yeah. So it basically with like the smallest one especially, it's literally like as soon as you click, you're like, okay, I figured out the whole map. The only way you normally lose is if you just...
Super pro tip. Okay?
Pro.
Only the most elite 1% Minesweeper players know this. If you double click, as in left and right, or middle click, okay, on like say you have a 1.
Yeah.
And you have the 1 mine already flagged with your right click, it'll uncover all other squares around that 1. And that works on any number. Wait. So rather than clicking each individual tile to uncover, you just flag the ones that you know.
Is that cheating or something?
No, it's like a shortcut.
Oh, so if you didn't have it flagged, would it pop the mine?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's like
if you have the wrong one flagged.
So if you have it correctly, it just speeds it up.
Yeah.
For you.
It's just like time something.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, check it out. Go to Minesweeper.
That's for those Minesweeper speedrunners out there. Just a little.
Let us know your fastest time on expert. That's what we want.
I think mine's like 600 something. It's bad.
Yeah, it's really big. I haven't played in a long time. So let's stick with Microsoft. What about Solitaire?
I don't have anything to say about Solitaire other than it's trash.
Spider Solitaire was different. Did you play Spider Solitaire?
I did not. I played a little free cell.
Now, I don't know the difference exactly between Spider Solitaire and normal Solitaire.
Let's keep it to normal because nobody's playing these janky user-made mods. All right.
I liked it. I don't know. It always felt like it wasn't as captivating to me as Minesweeper was.
The problem with Solitaire is you can get into unwinnable situations from the very start.
Yeah.
In Minesweeper, the only time that happens is your first click. Maybe you hit a mine. Very unlikely, but you can still do it.
Yeah.
And Solitaire,
or if you hit like one where you have
minutes,
just no way to start guessing.
You know, thinking it through, like going into the matrix, doing all these probability calculations, only to realize that it's impossible to win.
Yeah.
There's mistakes you can make that you couldn't have foreseen that end up screwing you over.
You just get stuck and you have to start over.
Yeah, there are like 50-50s where you have, say, you have a queen in your little deck, and then you have a queen in your in your pile, and you don't know which one will lead you to the right decision. Now, obviously, the odds tell you to always try and clear your piles. Yeah. But sometimes that's just not right, and there's nothing you can do about it, and that's why I don't like it.
Is there a mode that punishes you for going through your deck? Is that one? I remember that.
Some of them work differently. I know that
because a lot of times you can just shuffle through like.
Well, usually.
Do what?
Vegas rules.
Is that what that is?
You go through more than 3 times, so they got points.
Sometimes I think most of them do it this way. If once you shuffle through, let's say it gives you 3 cards at a time or something. I think there are some easier rules that let you see your whole deck at once or something, or let you see one card at a time. That way you can't have like a card trapped underneath another. But so once you use 1 card out of that 3 or whatever they normally do, I think.
I remember that. Yeah, the 3.
They shuffle back, so you always have 3, and that can screw you too.
Yeah.
Or help you.
Man,
it's
these mind games.
Yeah.
So another one, Pinball. That one's a little bit like less. That's just mindless.
Pinball's not as fun. No. There's some skill to it.
There is some skill, but it feels more mindless to me than other things.
It's more.
Maybe I just didn't get into it.
It's not as thoughtful, I don't think, but it's more. The skill is more manual. You have to have really good timing and everything.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's not as fun as a real pinball machine because you can't like beat it up when it's mean to you. You can't like shake it around or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You can shake your computer around, but it's not recommended.
I think there actually are tilt keys.
Yeah, you can tilt on the game.
Yeah.
To get it unstuck. I remember that
because
I would just do
it shake. Yeah.
Not as much fun as real tilting, but
yeah, tilting. Oh man, that sounds like isn't that a term for getting angry? Being tilted?
Yeah, that's a poker term that people use.
I was wondering if it came from pinball. That'd be cool.
I don't think so. I think it's unrelated.
I like how we just make connections.
It's the tilt thing comes from like people used to cheat the old machines by tilting them so their ball wouldn't go in the hole or whatever, and so they had like little tilt sensors. that would go off.
Warning.
And take your money.
Like at the gym when the
lunk alarm.
Yeah.
How do you even know about that?
I know about that because it's all over the internet. Right. Obviously I don't go to the gym like.
Yeah, pinball machines
someone asked me the other day if I wrestled in high school. I said,
why?
Dude,
you're way too tiny.
So I said, do I look like I wrestled in high school? He was like, oh, maybe for an 80-pound class or something. I was like,
I think that guy wants your body.
Maybe that's it. Actually, I think he was just being an asshole.
Oh well, maybe.
Okay, give me another game.
I just gave you like 3.
No, I said pinball and solitaire.
Okay, let's think about some games that aren't complete trash. Okay. How about we've been talking about Hollow Knight a lot. That's a dirt cheap game. It's on Switch now.
I just got it the other day, and it's super fun. Like, it is awesome. It feels, I don't know. It's a little bit grindy, not too much though. I don't like grindy games.
I don't see where you're getting grindy from.
I like for me, like exploring became a little bit of a grind in a good way, because I liked knowing every single room and how many enemies were in a room and killing them sometimes just to get the money so I could buy whatever I wanted.
Okay, well
that's weird. Grinding.
Like in that game, I feel most of the purchasable items don't actually make that big of a difference. Like most of the charms and things, I don't think are even game changing in any way. The map definitely, there's definitely like a lot of exploration. The token things can be semi helpful. It's weird because if you ever played like a Metroid game, a lot of times they'll actually label, especially the newer ones, the location of an item that you can pick up with like a little circle, and then once you get it, it's filled in.
Yeah.
So it gives you a hint there's something there. You may or may not have some kind of idea of what you need to get it.
Yeah.
Hollow Knight doesn't do that.
No,
Instead,
it doesn't.
You buy these little tokens, and you can place them wherever you want, but then you have to remember what they mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but you can buy the ones for like benches where you rest.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. Like stuff like stationary stuff. Once you find it, you can do stuff like that. But I like the game a lot because it doesn't hold your hand. It lets you like discover things.
Basically, not at all. Yeah.
No, not at all. But it does. It never really felt stagnant to where I felt lost. Because a lot of times with puzzle game, it's not a puzzle game, but with a game with puzzles, sometimes I get frustrated and get stuck at one spot, and I'll end up like not really coming back to a game that much.
Yeah.
I found myself doing that, and I know this is probably gonna give me flack with like because I'm super casual, but. I did that with Breath of the Wild, actually. In some spaces, yeah, where I've looked this up and I cannot figure out why, but there's a part of it where it will not let me interact with the Sheikah plate things or tablet things, and I've looked it up and I can't find anything that says why it won't let me. And
weird.
And I'm in like one of the beasts, and I beat the thing, and all I need to do is like interact with this thing, and it won't let me. And I just said, screw you, Zelda.
Sorry.
Not doing this anymore. Anyway, but Hollow Knight is really cool. I've been playing it for a couple of days, and I really like it so far. The bosses are kind of hit or miss, right?
Yeah, I mean, some of them are fun. The game, I don't want to talk too much crap about the game because overall, I give it big stamp of approval. I don't think it's a great game. I think it's a very solid game. Yeah. I'm really excited to see what that team does next.
$15.
If you like Dark Souls or any Metroid or like Castlevania games, especially like the newer like Simply the Night style ones, I would just play it.
Yeah, I like it. It's very atmospheric.
Very,
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
That's probably the strongest point of the whole game is atmosphere and stuff.
Get you some headphones if you're not going to turn the volume up, because I think you need that. But yeah, $15 on the Switch store right now. It's really nice.
I mean, you got to think, as long as it's VR, like you're talking about going in VR, walking around the woods and fighting monsters, it's still going to be you sitting there.
Yeah, no, you're going to look like an idiot.
You're going to feel like an idiot too, though. Like, there's no weight of the impact. I mean, it's just... It's not. It's
gonna be like playing paintball. They're gonna have it.
No, paintball's way better. There's like.
I'm not saying it's better. I said it's like.
Yeah, it's
going to be like they have.
Maya Bayo is like a Formula One car. It moves. It has wheels, but it's orders of magnitude in every way.
It's going to be similar in the fact that they're going to have areas sectioned off.
Okay.
For that.
Sure.
So then you will fight multiplayer games, but you'll fight in real life on your augmented reality.
You guys are live.
Okay.
Can you imagine playing that VR paintball game? It's like, oh, this hit and touch and shit. You didn't get me, bro.
Or lightsaber duels. That's what's really gonna happen.
Oh yeah, like you just I thought I hit you, but it just kept going.
Oh wait, hold on. Can I get restarted on my server? My server's messing up or something.
Like, how do you have a lightsaber battle in VR when there is no force of impact? Like, how do you know that you've clashed? You don't.
This is good. You
just
TV.
waggle like an idiot. VR is garbage. I'm sorry. All right.
Hold on.
So continuing right along.
Yep. All right, Justin. What other games you got?
I wanted to mention again. I think I've talked about this game briefly.
Counter-Strike does not count.
No, shut up. Shut up. It's a what is it, like an early access game called Slay the Spire. Now,
Okay.
if you've ever played Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering, especially the draft or the arena, I think they call it in Hearthstone, there's a way of playing card games where instead of just having your little collection and taking your deck around Yu-Gi-Oh style and getting those star chips, instead you open up brand new packs, pick a card or whatever, continue, and you build a deck out of what you just got. With
It's
your hands,
more difficult.
Right? Yeah, you have to kind of like
You have to know the cards.
You have to evaluate how good a card is, like how it's going to potentially fit into a deck with all these different cards.
A little bit more than building decks straight up, just because it's oftentimes. Is it cheaper? It's cheaper if you want to build top tier.
But that's all irrelevant here. The idea is they took the drafting gameplay of a card game, they mushed it into a roguelike, and then they made a game out of it.
Nice.
So you have different classes. You have like I think right now, last time I played, they had a warrior and a rogue class who work pretty differently because their cards are so different. So for the warrior, you might have a card they had a strike card, and you have different kinds of strike attacks which just straight up deal damage.
Okay.
But this card does extra damage for every card in your deck named blank strike.
Well,
so you can be hitting for like 400 damage or something.
Nice.
With this one card. So what'll happen is you get a basic deck of like 15 cards.
Okay.
Every once in a while, when you've cleared a little encounter, which might be 2 or 3 different enemies, you get to pick a new card. There's different potions and stuff that you can carry in between battles. When you start a fight off, you get like 5 or 6 cards to start with. At the end of the turn, you discard your whole hand, draw 5 new ones. And so it keeps going. Now you have all kinds of things like armor you can build up. There's a strategy where you build a bunch of armor so you don't take damage to your health, which is limited, and if you run out, obviously you die. And then you have an attack that does extra damage for all the armor that you have. I had on the rogue class, I think I had a card that was every time you used it or something, it would give you armor, and it would insert another card into your deck that was free and did damage. Cool. So by the end of it, and when you use a card, it goes into your discard, right? When you go through your entire deck, it all gets shuffled back in. So by the end of it, I had like 40 cards that were doing 1 damage each and were free. And every time I ran my hand dry, it would give me a new card.
That's brutal.
And then I would just play those free cards over and over. And I'd draw like 15 cards a turn.
Combo.
And there's all kinds of crazy crap you can do. Right now it's on Steam. I'm not sure if it's available on console yet.
Is it free or?
I think it was like $10 or $15 when I got it, but it's still getting updated all the time. Pretty cool. I'd recommend at least checking it out if you're at all interested in card games. Yeah.
Nice, man. Nice.
Or roguelikes or anything like that. Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Right. That reminds me. Would anybody like to see Zach get triggered right quick?
Sure.
Speaking of which, I realized the other day we've been talking about something completely unrelated to this. I figured out why somebody that we've been talking about hasn't finished something. They've been involved with a project developing a card game based in the universe of a book series.
No, don't say it. No.
I have absolutely no idea what is going on right now.
Not Patrick Rothfuss. No, not like this.
There is a card game.
Not like this.
What's happening? Somebody explain.
Based in the Wind.
The Name of the Wind.
Why'd you have to do that to me?
Zach, please explain to everyone.
Okay, all right. Okay. So basically, I'll
look up the name of it for you.
Please don't.
In just a second.
I am a huge fantasy fan in terms of literature.
That's books.
Yeah, that's what we call books. I like Lord of the Rings. Was probably my greatest fantasy. My greatest fantasy.
Your brother Chad hates Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, he's not. I tried talking to him about it.
Or he likes the boobs, or I don't know what he thinks.
No, he keeps
honestly.
getting it confused with Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
He's really an idiot. So Wesley got me hooked on The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, which is now probably almost better in some ways than Lord of the Rings was, in my opinion.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so in my opinion, it's going to be a classic like fantasy. So he's written 2 books. They're really long, really, really, really good, and he's sitting on the 3rd one, the final one, and he's sitting on it. And now Wesley has the gumption to tell me on camera that he is not writing the book right now because he's focusing on making a stupid card game a la like Gwent or something off The Witcher. What is happening?
Yikes.
Wesley.
Hold on, I'm looking at this.
Are you for real, though? Is that what he's really doing?
This is going to be fun to edit. I can't wait.
Yeah, sorry, man.
I think the name of it's a Kickstarter. Call to Adventure.
No. Fuck that Kickstarter.
By Brotherwise Games.
Nope.
Call to Adventure featuring Name of the Wind.
Featuring
Name of the Wind. Well,
I never listen to or buy anything that says
Hey,
featuring
it already
on
has.
No.
Would you like me to tell you how much is pledged of it?
no.
You sure?
What? How much?
It has 192,000
Holy-
pledged of 35,000.
Yep, that guy's making some easy money.
Yeah, jeez.
Has over 2,800 backers.
Anyway, there's a book for you. Actually, no, don't go support him now. I'm mad at him. No, if you're bored, go check out. It's really good.
We're technically a board game channel too, right? We can talk about this stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
We don't know anything about
It
it.
is still gaming. I mean, it is because it is.
Well, if you follow game like fantasy kind of gaming, like what's it called, Geek and Sundry kind of channels like that. Patrick Rothfuss is very into D&D and fantasy role
he
playing
actually has
games.
been featured on their channel more than once.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, if you follow them in any kind of capacity, you know who I'm talking about. He's in that. He's actually a friend of a podcast I really like. My brother and me. He's a friend of them. They love it because it's awesome, and you should read it. But he's just making me mad right now. Continuing.
I'm sorry that
with
you're so
Boredom.
disappointed
Oh,
in
you're
your
welcome
idol.
for that,
And my
Zach.
idol.
You're welcome for that, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, man. But yeah, so go read those if you get bored. Anything else we got for?
I mean, that's
for
a good thing
Boredom?
to do when you're bored, right? Read
Just
books,
read
especially
books.
really long ones.
Yeah.
I can't really recommend Game of Thrones. Like, I think we
No.
briefly talked about Chad liking that or liking the boobs in that.
He likes the boobs. That's it.
I wouldn't even recommend the audiobooks. Just I would hard
No,
pass on them.
that
honestly.
is something that you can do though. I've started a new job where I drive for about an hour one way, and that's the only thing keeping me sane, honestly. Because I really don't have a lot of time. Well, I don't like spending my free time sitting down and reading as much, but I still enjoy a good story. So I've been reading by just listening to the books. Listen to The Magicians. It was okay. Wasn't my favorite. No Patrick Rothfuss. But I've been listening to a bunch of different stuff, and you should go check it out. I recommend Scythe. It's really good. It's technically a young adult novel, but it's dystopian. But don't let that it's not one of those.
It's not.
It's not one of
Hunger
those.
Games or
no, it's not one of
whatever?
those. I don't like dystopias now because they've been so inundated in our pop culture now. It's like the thing. But this one's really interesting. Just a premise. It is about no one dies now. Everyone's immortal. There's no sickness. But for population control purposes, people still need to die. So they have a group of people called Scythes that are, they pretty much are legally allowed to kill anyone they want.
Oh my.
And it's very interesting. And it deals with morality in a lot of different ways. And I think it's really cool. So you should go check that out.
I think reading is for nerds. So I'm gonna recommend another video game.
Do it. Let's go back to video games.
If you're one of these poor saps like myself and you haven't bought a Switch yet, but you do have a 3DS, there's really only one series that you need. And we talked about this one before.
I know
Monster Hunter.
Yeah, Monster Hunter.
It's Monster Hunter.
It's Monster
I
Hunter.
think actually the most recent release of the mobile series is getting a Switch release in the next couple weeks.
Really?
Monster
I didn't
Hunter
know that.
Generations X or something, I think it's called, or the new Generations re-release. Generations is pretty goofy. If you've played World, Generations is like a completely different thing. It's much closer to the older games in the series.
Mm-hmm.
All the weapons have these different styles that they can kind of equip, almost like a secondary, like a sub weapon class. Basically, they all play totally differently.
Okay.
So if you've liked Monster Hunter before, or even if you've never played it, I think that's a pretty decent title to jump into. There's an enormous amount of content, absolutely absurd. I think this one's actually adding the more difficult G rank or something similar to it, which again World did not have. So
That's where the monsters were difficult, right?
If you played World and you felt like you liked the game, but maybe there just wasn't enough for you,
Mm-hmm.
or you're interested to see what the older games would have been like without having to go back and struggle through all the awful quality of life stuff,
Yeah.
I think this would be a good game to try out.
Cool. And you said that's re-releasing soon?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. How is Monster Hunter World going?
World is pretty cool. I haven't played it as much recently. It's actually about to re-release on PC.
Okay.
So I plan to start playing it again then. They had recently pretty exciting news. They're doing a crossover of Final Fantasy 14. They're introducing, I think it's Rathalos into Final Fantasy 14 as a boss encounter, which is super cool, dude.
Nice.
And then they're bringing over the Behemoth from Final Fantasy
as a monster
in Monster Hunter, which is going to be sick nasty. Oh my god, it's like a giant double-horned dog monster thing, and it's absolutely enormous. Nice. Like it's huge. It's huge. I can't wait to slay it.
Nice, man. Well, get on it. Start slaying. Let's see if I have any other some board games. We could always recommend some board games too. If you have some friends you're just bored in the summertime, you got them summertime blues. Check out Betrayal House on the Hill. Is really fun if you like a little bit of randomness. Justin doesn't really like that game.
That game, it is super random.
It is really random.
It's cool because there's so many different. You're like in a house with your friends, hanging out, walking around.
Yeah.
Halfway through the game, somebody becomes the monster, and there's like a billion different monsters that all play differently.
In the standard version, there's like 53 different scenarios, and then they have expansion packs and stuff.
And the monsters are completely different. One time we played. Wesley actually got Frankenstein. Frankenstein hits like a truck. He moves kind of slow. He lumbers. Yeah. One time, I think I got this super overpowered one called
like
I think
the Wraith
it's
or something.
The Wraith or the Banshee or something.
Yeah, I think it's a Banshee.
So this one is just weird. You roll a die. It determines which way your little minion.
You can't
moves.
move freely.
Yeah, you don't get to control its movement, but it moves like 20 spaces and it kind of hugs walls as it goes around.
And kills
this
pretty much anything it touches.
Yeah, I actually at one point got Michael stuck in a room, sort of like in the center of a clover leaf, and so it walked into a room, hit him once, came back out, hit him, came back out, hit him, and he just instantly died on the spot.
The game is a little bit sometimes like it could be one-sided where you get a monster that's really underpowered and then it doesn't really feel as fun. But
I feel like if we played it with more people, maybe that would have alleviated a lot of the problems. We played like 4 people, I think.
The way that you actually build the house as you go by discovering rooms.
Yeah,
that's
so you get
cool.
to it's almost like a roguelike dungeon where you get to explore the room, and
with room tiles.
Yeah, as you go through this house, you uncover the map.
So it's different every time. We haven't had a game that's similar in any way, really.
Yeah.
So
if you're not hyper competitive and you're willing to just like have a lot
of fun. If you like losing, you can play Dead of Winter.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't.
That's pretty much all I can say about that one.
I can confirm.
Checks out. It's really fun. Really fun cooperative game. You play in a zombie apocalypse. There can be a betrayer. You can also play without one. So you can have one person that's kind of fighting against you, which is fun at sometimes. But game's really brutal, really difficult.
Very brutal.
You rarely win as a team, but you get to be a team, so you get to die together. Isn't that what life's all about?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dying together. Let me see if I play any other board games like
one I heard about recently that I'm pretty excited to try out. I think it's called Exploding Kittens. Have you heard of this?
I've heard of that. Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of Magic. There's like counter spells. Yeah. There's a card called No where you just get to tell the person no and they can't do whatever they're trying to do.
It's like a pop culture version of Magic the Gathering without the nerdy stuff.
Yeah, it seems much more easy to get into.
Yeah.
And so I think the way that game works is everybody draws from a communal deck. You have a bunch of cards that can change turn order, skip people's turns or whatever. And I think the idea is if you draw an Exploding Kitten, you lose unless you have a card to defuse it. So you want just like in Magic, card advantage matters. You want to have as many cards to do crap as you can, but you only want more cards if you can defuse that kitten. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's pretty interesting. It's like it's a skillful game where there's still just enough randomness that like you're not gonna have that one guy who's actually good pooping on all your friends and ruining everybody's time.
Yeah. That's the one thing about getting into Magic that I've always hated a little bit is when you try to get somebody in, like
it's too skill based.
It's so skill based that like you have to
get screwed by RNG.
You have to be really, really careful when you're introducing someone new.
That's true.
Because you don't want to just poo-poo on them, but you can't give them the best deck you have because they don't understand how to play it.
Yeah.
So you actually like have to kind of lose. It's a little bit unless you have with me, like Wesley taught me to play and he just poo-pooed on me the whole time. But I'm the type of person that actually challenged me to I had to beat him. You know what I mean? Like I had to get better. Yeah, that's what that is. But a lot of people don't respond.
Wesley can't win, so it worked out perfectly.
Wesley can't win. He created a monster.
I built you a fairly good deck.
No, you did, but that's what I'm saying is you can only build so much for a newbie.
Because they're just not going to understand how to take advantage.
You're not
going to
give them a blue deck.
The first time that when we started all playing Standard, I got a Walking Ballista out of a pack, and when we all figured out how that worked,
Oh,
I mean, that
man.
was a game changer.
Walking Ballista, we didn't even know. We almost we're like, whatever.
It's just like there are cards in Magic that are playing them is more complicated than some entire games. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it is a very difficult game to learn.
Yeah. But anyway, this has been our show about, getting rid of that summer funk.
Let's hope it ends soon, man, because I'm ready to play some actual video games.
Episode or the summer?
No, the summer, man.
Okay.
We have a lot of games to look forward to,
Yeah.
especially this winter, like in December
Got
and
that
January.
Smash going on. Hoping that we can do a Smash Brothers tournament.
Yeah. Oh, we're definitely doing that.
Yeah. We actually might be coming
we're
around
Mario
to.
Party 2, I hope.
We might be coming around to some college campuses at the end of this year, maybe next year, to start doing some marketing and stuff. So, I mean, probably not your college, but just let us,
Why would we come and see you?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, we don't like you that much. But make sure you tune in next week. Michael will be back, and everything will be back to normal, hopefully. Keep on playing them video games and other games.
Have a great week, everybody.
Have an amazing week. We love you. We love you so much.
Not that much. Like a normal amount.
Slightly above normal amount.
Okay, yeah.